Welcome to Focus Asia from our studios in Hong Kong. I'm Shakuntala Santharan. It's a tragic flip side to the growth in international travel. Child sex tourism now sadly plagues many Asian nations, with Thailand, Cambodia and Sri Lanka just three trying to clean up their image as havens for paedophiles. But as authorities have clamped down in one country, the sex tourists have moved on to another. And now it seems their target is Vietnam. Susan Yu reports.
When the children go to tourist areas, they're more exposed and vulnerable to sex tourists.
Yes, it is a business. There are people who see that anything that can make money is acceptable.
The question is not the difficulty, it's the will to stop this sort of sex tourism.
Sex tourism is nothing new in Asia, but it's become the latest threat to Vietnam. As its neighbors crack down on the problem, pedophiles have turned to the socialist country to find new victims. It's a trend veteran travel writer Ed Peters has witnessed. He's written about pedophile rings and how sexual predators make their rounds in Asia.
I have come across us in Nepal, where children have run away from their families hoping to seek their fortunes. They've been taken in by somebody actually in Kathmandu. They were then given some money and subsequently sexually abused. And that was actually by a foreigner who had been posing as an aid worker.
Since 2000, Vietnam's Public Security Ministry says nearly 1,700 young children have been sexually abused. But international agencies believe the number is more like 70,000. Many believe, whatever the statistic, more needs to be done to stem the tide of pedophiles flocking to Vietnam.
It has to be addressed at the national level and also very importantly across the region. Because sometimes if one country enforces legislation that addresses the problem shifts to the next country where the protection may not yet be in place.
This is where you can enjoy the sand and the sea, and for pedophiles, sex with minors.
Places like Thailand and the Philippines already have that sad reputation. Vietnam is off the map. If a single male says, "Oh, I'm going on Vietnam on holiday," no one suspects a thing. In fact, that's ideal predatory country for him.
Ideal also because of the lack of protection for children like Do Swan Tu. The 11-year-old has been on the streets since he was 6. He sells postcards, chewing gum, and shines shoes to make ends meet. Tu's profile is typical of that of a child ripe for exploitation. He tells us how foreigners have made advances, offering to pay for his company. Tu's case and others like it are a growing concern for Vo Thi Mai. She heads Nha Trang's province's Family Planning and Child Care Department, which runs shelters for street children.
Street children come to Nha Trang because there are many tourists here. That means they're more exposed and more vulnerable to pedophiles. We know of so many cases of very young children being sexually abused. The phenomenon of pedophiles is growing.
And she says the authorities aren't doing anything about it. Mai says recently a 42-year-old Swedish man was caught sexually abusing a child of 10. She filed a complaint, which the police soon dismissed for lack of evidence. The Swede was released and no one knows of his whereabouts.
Looking into how street children are being exploited by pedophiles isn't easy. As we found out, it's a taboo and sensitive subject. The police have warned us not to report on the problem.
And this is the reason why. Tourism. We were told that any report on Nha Trang being a haven for pedophiles would stain the resort town's image. The police also warned us that if we tried to talk to pedophile victims, we would have to bear the consequences. Child welfare observers allege the police are involved in the pedophile racket. with local pimps and sex tourists paying them bribes to turn a blind eye to their illicit activities.
The question is not the difficulty, it's the will to stop this sort of sex tourism. The laws may well be in place, but the fact of the matter is, if there's no compunction on behalf of the authorities to crack down on sex tourism, then they're not going to do that.
I think that is one of the phenomena that comes from the fact that the environment where the child is living is not able to provide the protection. Our concern in that respect is also that it's linked with the organized crime.
For some, that's not surprising. They allege the pedophile racket is supported by a sophisticated network involving many local parties.
Some children meet them on the beach and they offer them like 50,000 dong to go to karaoke. You know, in Vietnam they're singing in the daytime. They go to karaoke room, they're going to have sex or whatever in the room. Or they go back to the hotel. They pick them up on the beach. Or the manager of the hotel uses kid, bring to the customer to make commission. So this manager of the hotel get commission from the kid, get commission from the foreigner, or Vietnamese pimp, pick a boy on a motorbike, they go around searching for young boy.
But boys like Tu have learned to say no, thanks to Kim Lay's anti-pedophile campaign, which is headquartered at her Crazy Kim bar. It's here where more than 50 street children come once a week for food, support, and an education. They get Vietnamese and English lessons too, and most importantly, they learn how to reject and report on pedophiles in Nha Trang. The project has become a personal crusade for the 43-year-old former Vietnamese refugee.
I feel like it's stopping. I have to do something because I speak the language and I love these children. You know, when I was in Thailand, I see this problem everywhere. I never think about doing anything. When I come to Vietnam, I said, shit, this is something I have to do. You know? And since then, it just disturbing me. I have to do something.
She has personally shamed pedophiles publicly in Nha Trang and doesn't apologize for it.
If I see a pedophile, I have to find out where is his hotel. I have to try to get his passport if I can, if the hotel give it to me. Otherwise, there'll be more trouble. When I had his passport number, I sent to Interpol, to Hanoi directly. Because the police here, they cannot check it, anything.
When she's not on the front lines, she's behind the bar, mixing drinks for a good cause. It's here where part of her bar profits go towards her Street Children Fund. But despite all of this, Kim Lay admits there are few happy endings for the sexually abused children she has tried to help.
He become a pimp. He's going to get children for this pedophile to make money. He's not a victim anymore because he's 18 years old now. And he become a pimp. So this pedophile give them money, he has mobile phone, he get motorbike, and he go and pick up a young child for them. You know?
And this was a boy who was a victim himself?
Yes.
It's clear it will take more than loose change and goodwill to stop sexual predators and those who aid them.
There should be better protection for children, and the government should have a better policy of improving the economic situation in remote areas, since that's where most of the children come from.
If the situation in neighboring Thailand and Cambodia is anything to go by, international condemnation may be needed to shame authorities to genuinely try and break the vicious cycle of the selling of innocence.